when you have a camera and you engage yourself into a project that needs to be completed, because there is nothing worse than not finish what you start. So yes, you feel an obligation to dig. It's very stressful sometimes, because you feel you dig and there is nothing coming out, and then you have sweat going down your head, and you think, okay, I'm not shooting anything that's gonna be interesting in any aspect. So you have to go in a different direction, try to find something, and there is a huge suspense. It's a bit like when you do a casting and you have to interact with somebody that's completely a stranger to you, and find a way to get from this person element that will help you decide if he's right or she's right or wrong for the part. So you have to react really fast, and because if you just say nothing, then you have no element to make your judgment. So I find there is a parallel in both cases. So you have to find a way to get things to happen, and it could be really challenging.
Yeah, you really have to be ruthless in a way, don't you? But they're not. The difference is they're not actors.
Correct,
you can hurt the feelings of an actor. You can, by pushing and prodding and challenging them. But you can't deal with your family members that same way.
No, it's true. You deal with. Some people, they want to be in front of the camera, but those are not the most interesting people. But somebody who doesn't really have any interest of being in front of the camera, they give themselves to you, and so you don't feel you have the right to manipulate them or torture them or dig into them to find any kind of truth. It's not like if they are going to see a shrink and ask to be digged in and reveal some truth. That's something you decide for them, and it's intrusive. But once again, if you want to do something that's interesting, you have to go through that.
Yeah. Any reservations about suddenly doing something so personal?
Well, in the beginning, I was supposed to talk about her as a school teacher and her experience through the different schools. I think she went through 8 schools, and sometimes with 4 pupils, because she was experiencing the desertion of small village and communities, and she was generally the last teacher, and then the school was closed and she had to move in another town. And so this was a very official, and it could be personal, but it was not the goal to dig into that, more than to record her experience in life as a teacher. Unfortunately, in this role, she acted like the school teacher. As much as she was funny when we would talk without the camera, when the camera was rolling, she started to act more and more as a school teacher. And she was not as funny, and she was a bit contrived. So I felt I was going nowhere in a way. But that's not the reason why I shifted the story. I think what happened is we were trying to find pupils that she had over the years, and there were very little we could find. They were gone, they didn't want to be shot or whatever. And one of the pupils she had every year, every month, every day was her son. Unfortunately for him, because I don't think it's very healthy, he had all the time his mother as a teacher. So we started to interview him, and we had long takes. And after one long take, he said, I mean, I knew he was homosexual, but he never really spoke out about it, especially with his parents. So he started to talk about it. And then we could sort of confront it. I mean, and when we did interview with him and his mother, we could see the tension, and the cameraman, I remember, told me that we started with them close in the frame, so we could shoot them close, and then as they always would go apart further and further, so we had to pull back the camera to keep them both in the frame. So, and I remember he told me, here you have your subject. It's this relationship that seems very full of tension and catastrophic.
Yeah. How did you feel when you realized, I'm getting into some, I mean, is there that split that you have between, you know, you as a family member wanting to sort of be protective of these family members you love, and, you know, your job as a filmmaker to tell the most dramatic story you possibly can?
Yeah, it's a big split between my feelings shooting my family and really being careful with their the feelings, and my feelings as a filmmaker to make a good film, a film that will interest them. And I solved it. I mean, there is different reason to solve it. I think the main reason was that I didn't want to make a boring film because it would not have served her. Like, if I shoot a movie about my auntie and the movie is boring, that's not good for her. But of course, it's not good for me. It's good for nobody, and it's not good for her. So I think, okay, it's going to be more painful, but at least the movie would have more interest, and it's better for her. That was one of the reasons. Another reason is that when you're behind a camera, and I'm sure you understand that, your boundaries are much further than when you don't have the camera. I mean, I could really talk about the really sordid, like dirty details in the life, and ask questions I would never dare to ask in real life. But when you have the camera, it's like a shell that protects you, and then you have the obligation to go further and not being satisfied with half of an answer. So, and that's our job. If we make a documentary or even a feature film, you have to push it further. So I had that in mind, the way I was hurting her. But once again, it was more important that the film would be interesting. And eventually, this process had a very good outcome, because she understood what I was looking for a few years later, and she thanked me for it. And the relation was fixed, or at least much better with her son.
Was it frustrating or liberating for you to not have a script while this was all going on?
Well, it's scary, but it's very educative. Because basically you go there, you start to shoot, and nothing happens. And you feel really it's a catastrophe. And then something happens, and then it was all the days maybe where everything you shot was uninteresting. And I experienced that when I did the documentary Block Party with Dave Chappelle. We went with him in Ohio, in his hometown, and he would give away golden tickets, like Willy Wonka, to come to the concert in Brooklyn. And so I was following him with a camera with 16mm roll, which are 10 minutes, and nothing was happening, and we were wasting film, and nothing. It's just boring. And then all of a sudden, he made this marching band from a school, and they talk to them about the concert. Maybe they will come to the concert. Everybody is excited. They knew a song from Kanye West, and it's pure magic. So all this tension that build up with shooting nothing happening to something really great, and that you could never imagine shooting for a movie. I mean, sometimes you have moment like that, but most of the time no. So I think that that's a price to pay to get something special. It's like all this time you spend on film.
Are you a fan of personal documentaries in general?
Yeah. I mean, your documentary are personal. I'm a fan of them.
Well, thank you. I wasn't fishing, but...
No, but I mean, it's the first example that came to me. Yeah, I think so, because you need to get some humor. Because there is closeness you have, even though you go through you look at them through the camera, there is you can't take yourself so seriously. So there is a layer of humor and intimacy that doesn't exist when you do something that's not so personal. And I think it's touching. I mean, you enter into the very heart of the relationship in a family. That's, I mean, maybe it's voyeurism, but I think it's stronger than most fiction you can think of. In fact, I have a very hard time to watch fiction. I watch mostly documentaries now.
Because you just don't find them authentic enough?
Yeah, I mean, in a documentary, you watch something that really happened. And in a movie, you're watching something that's been calculated and more or less successfully. And some movies are great, but I think it's more captivating to watch something that's real. On, I mean, it's silly, but I really like to see the footage from the past in personal documentaries. I don't know how they do it, because they always find images to illustrate what's going on, and it's really, you get sent back to a past that you may have experienced, but from the outside. And then you see the image from the inside, and so you realize, oh, that was what was going on at this moment. I just like this feeling.
If somebody came up to you and said, Michel, I'm making this personal documentary about my family, it's such an amazing situation, and they came to you looking for advice, what would you tell them?
Spend time for each scene or situation or question, to give the time to the subject to forget about the camera. It's really a big machine, and it's very hard for us to forget about it, but for people who go in front of it, that really affect their behavior. And so you have to really spend time to become, for you to become invisible. And as well, something else that's very important in my opinion is to not know what you're looking for. And in fact, in science, that's really a principle. Most of discovery has been done as a side effect to somebody was looking for some technology, and on the way, this person discovered another thing that became what changed the world, let's say. Like the guy who invented the ship, he was looking for something else. So that works with documentaries as well. You go there and you have to be open to change your subject. But that's my opinion, because some other director wants to keep the direction, like a boat, of their story.
Have you ever experienced a creative block, or a loss of nerve?
Yeah, a lot of time. After a shooting, well, first of all, when you finish a shooting and you do the first rough cut, it's a horrible feeling. It's a rather disaster. Then when the film is finished, you have this really bad feeling of what I'm gonna do next. So generally, I try to have another project ready for me to jump on when I finish one project. Like this time now, I don't have that and I feel a little lost. Yes, I have creative blocks, a lot of them.
What do you do?
Sometimes I do a video that helps me. I go to the countryside and I try to find ideas sitting next to a river. It's not by watching movies. That doesn't help me. I don't have much solution. So what do you do when you have a block, as your name is?
What do? I fret.
Fret?
Yes.
What fret means?
Worry.
Ah, yes, it's true. Time flies. We're not getting any younger.
No, we're not.